This is Myndos Gate in ancient Halikarnassos, Asia Minor, now modern Bodrum in Turkey. The city fortifications were constructed between 377 and 362 BCE during the reign of Mausolus, the King of Caria. Halikarnassos was a rich and flourishing city at this time. Its 7.5-kilometre wall had 3 main gates and over 50 watchtowers. Excavation here was from 1998 to 2000, headed by the Bodrum Castle team and University of Southern Denmark. The outer walls of the 2 Myndos Gate towers are hard-brown andesite ashlars. The architectural features on the towers include vertical drafting and double bonding techniques on the corners. The space between the 2 large Myndos Gate towers are open, with no evidence of gate hinges. The enemy could enter the courtyard and be attacked from the towers and the walls above. Myndos Gate is one of the 3 main gates that protected King Mausolus' city. After the death of his father, Halikarnassos, around 377 BCE, Mausolus left his native city of Leicester and moved the capital of Caria to Halikarnassos. Mausolus' project to create a new city is recognised as one of the most significant undertakings in the cultural history of Caria. Collaborating with the most renowned architects, planners and artists of his time, Mausolus aimed to build a metropolis that could rival Athens, not only in terms of urbanisation and architecture, but also in culture. During the siege, Alexander's army managed to breach the outer walls in this location. However, the city did not completely surrender. This event highlights the strategic, architectural and engineering excellence of the city walls. And although parts of the walls have suffered severe damage over time, 5 kilometres remain intact today. Starting at this tower, the 1.5-kilometre section we are going to walk along now was cleaned and excavated from 2020 to 2022 by the Akademia Foundation in Bodrum, supervised by the Bodrum Castle. Mausolus' wall was a key strategy in the city planning of the great Halikarnassos. He used the natural landscape to build the wall. All of these towers you see here would have been about 11 metres high, probably with 2 floors inside. The walls were around 8 metres high and 2.5 metres wide. Beautiful in design on both sides and filled with rubble for strength. At the back of this tower, there are Roman water pipes, a later addition. The red and white poles indicate the pipes leading away from the tower. One of the most beautiful aspects is the different kinds of stone that was used. You will notice the colour and stone type change as we walk along the clean section. There is also a mix of well-cut ashlar stone and polygonal stone. Along this stretch of the wall, some of the material culture found included inscribed gravestones, funerary urns, a votive statue, and amphorae. fortifications surround the city way wider and further out from the city than was needed. This type of walled fortification is called Geländemauer. Its strategic advantage was that it used the landscape and heights around the city. Attackers had to attack uphill on difficult ground, with attack coming down on them. This type of wall was probably the most important innovation of fortification building in Asia Minor after 375 BCE. At this point, you can see a distinct change from rectangular andesite ashlar blocks to limestone polygonal shaped stone. In fact, this whole section of the western wall features both styles and some different colours and types of stone. We are now at the top of the hill, approaching what could have been a large soldiers' barracks. This section of the wall is badly damaged and was restored in Roman and later eras. Some exciting artefacts were discovered here in the 2020-2022 project, including 5 identical stone catapult balls. Ancient sources talk about Alexander being attacked from a higher position near Myndos Gate. It holds a strong strategic position, overlooking Myndos Gate below to the north. This section of the wall is exquisite, a long stretch of polygonal limestone with possibly sun-shaped designs. This section is on a high ridge heading south. More graves and gravestones were found here along the city wall, as per the normal custom of burying the dead outside the city wall. It is somewhat surprising to me that this western section of the wall has not appeared in discussion in key literature. Firstly, given its general strategic land location within the whole wall circuit. Secondly, the possible involvement in Alexander's siege of Halikarnassos, especially that of the soldiers' barracks, directly overlooking the Myndos Gate compound. And thirdly, the location of the 2 large towers coming up ahead of us. All of these would have been key in keeping watch over any enemy approach from the Aegean and the Mediterranean. As we approach this watchtower, we notice a change in stone design and type, and a few Roman graves. The towers were generally built after the wall and were not attached. If the wall was breached, the tower wouldn't come tumbling down as it wasn't connected, and vice versa. Along this section, there is a return to the brown andesite ashlar stone. It was along here that a child's clay sarcophagus was found with ashes of the deceased baby inside it. Small clay containers called unguentatorium to collect the tears of mourners were also found along the wall at certain intervals and were probably Hellenistic or early Roman. This watchtower is on the curve as we walk up to the two towers on the peak of the hill. The stone changes to a pinky mauve here in the tower and along the outer section of the wall. Another observation is the inner wall is rectangular andesite ashlar stone and the outer wall is mainly polygonal limestone. This could indicate either some restoration at some point in time or the fact that different stone was used at the same time of building for the outside and inside wall. The Emplecton style, where the middle section is filled with rubble, is very clear to see here. As we look back along the stretch we have just walked along, we can see the wall following the hills and ridges of the natural landscape. Here we're heading to the two towers on the highest point of this 1.5 kilometre cleaned and excavated section of the western part of the Halikarnassos city wall. These two towers were built in the 4th century BCE under King Mausolus, but have been extensively restored in Roman and Ottoman times. Lodged into this part of the wall are examples of spolia, stone and marble that were originally from other monuments and now used to rebuild the tower wall. Some of the material culture that was discovered here in the first layer of excavation was very interesting. Weaving loom weights, a metal catapult missile, decorated clay roof cornices, oil lamps, amphora handles with their company stamps. And most significantly, a large red-figured black pottery container was found, the type made in Athens in late classical and early Hellenistic period, possibly for mixing wine and water. This is the last tower in the 2020-2022 western section of the wall. We are on the outside of the city wall, but on the inside of the wall there are steps that the soldiers would have used to enter the tower. The discovery and restoration of such a significant section of the Halikarnassos city wall highlights more than just its role as a fortification. It has helped validate the ancient text and the little that is already known about Halikarnassos from the work of scholars past and present.